All right, hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right. First, I'm gonna give honors to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace and salutations to all that follow Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai with truth and sincerity. I like to say shalom. Give me a second. All right. The title of this lesson is going to be called Shalakia. I'll move this real quick. The title of this lesson is going to be called White Edomite, or what you call Eurocentric imagery, is dying. Esau is falling. And now we live in a world where, for the past few centuries, for 500 plus years, this man Esau Edom has uh, plagiarized, painted, and psychologically changed the world in the sense that making that Eurocentric white or Edomite features is the default, the template, or the universal look. Okay, that Edomite features are no, not right now, not right now. Edomite features are the ideal image of man, the apex of man. Okay, having blonde hair and blue eyes or looking like an Edomite is the closest thing to God. And his media, his books, his art, his music, okay, his television, okay, his literature, that looking like an Edomite is the closest thing to God. That's when you walk into a church where they have white Jesus. The white angels are white. They even have these babies with wings, with bows in their hands, with arrows. All right, them cupids. All right, white babies, which that go back to Greek mythology. But still, all right, the white imagery, or what you'll call Edomite, Eurocentric imagery, is dying because the Lord is changing the earth's energy. He's changing the vibration of the earth. How people view Esau, like they did hundreds of years ago or now, is no longer the case, man. Okay, because now everybody got their eyes on Jake. It's a total takeover. Okay, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians is a total takeover, man. And even people of color of other nations, man. Okay, now brown skin or having melanin is now the new trend. All right, now brown skin and having melanin is now becoming the new ideal look of beauty. Okay, you go on TikTok. Okay, these Edomites will tan themselves, cover themselves up with tan cream so they can look like a Jake woman or a woman of another nation. Why is that? Because this man's lies are coming to an end. Okay, his lies, his deception. Hey man, this man had changed the whole world, thinking that blue eyes and blonde hair and lighter skin is the closest thing to God. And if you go into the scriptures, that's not it. That's far from the Most High, man. That's leprosy. That's very, very unclean. Okay, Esau is very unclean. He's genetically, spiritually, physically, and morally inherently unclean, man. In the eyes of Yahweh, he's a walking abomination. The Edomite man and the Edomite woman and child. Okay, so I typed this up on ChatGPT. I'm gonna grab some articles, but first let's type this up real quick. I put up the images, but it says, what is Eurocentric? I typed in, what is white Eurocentric imagery? White Eurocentric imagery refers to the visual representations, aesthetics, and cultural depictions that exclusively or predominantly center the physical features, cultural norms, and perspectives of white people of Europe descent as the default, superior, or ideal standard. Right. That's why when you growing up, that's why when you turn on the TV, all your characters, your cartoon characters were all white. Now, spiritually, if you look at it, they were all based off of Jake, but truthfully, okay, like for example, Goku or what's another character? Avatar Aang. All right, they were basically they represented Jake, but they made them look white or a little Asian, but mainly white because they had lighter skin and their blue eyes. Okay. They made Superman white. Superman is spiritually we see it with Israelite vision. Hey, he's an Israelite man. He could be Ephraim or Judah. Okay, but they made him look like an Edomite. The Edomite was superpowers from another world and get his powers from the sun. This man Esau Edom can't even walk out the sun. White people when they walk out the sun they turn red. They're the Edomites. Okay, they get sun cancer. Once the sun hits them, they turn red. They get sunburn, boils. They had because they have no pigmentation or melanin. Okay, but they claim themselves to be the default or the ideal standard, the ideal image of the earth, which is false. The true ideal superior default, the ideal look that you're supposed to look like or wanted to be, because you heathens can never be us, but still, and what the world envies about physical looks and stuff like that is the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, West Indies, and Haitians. Why do you think a lot of these white women they go to these Botox surgery clans, surgery places, and they get their lips fuller because they want to look like the nigger woman, okay, the Eve, all right, the Israelite woman, okay, and that's the thing too. Growing up, hey, a lot of black women were bullied for their looks, man. Broad nose, thick lips, monkey lips. Okay, I heard many of stories of not just black women but black men as well of Jake. Period. You know, if you don't know what Jake, if you don't know what Jake means, Jake represents Jacob, the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. But that's just a code word for Jake, a code name. But Jacob, Israelites, when we went to certain schools that were predominantly white, okay, a lot of Israelite kids were picked on because of their looks. Okay, a lot of black girls that went to predominantly white schools or preschools or kindergarten stuff like that were picked on because she got monkey lips, she like a gorilla, this, that, and the third. She's too dark. But now growing up, the people that bully Jake over our looks, now they want to get lip fillers. Now they want to get darken their hair. Now they want to get tans so they can look like a so-called black, Latino, Native American, or Seminole Indian man, woman, and child. So truthfully, the Israelites, the true default, the superior and ideal standard, the true perfect image of the earth is the Israelites. I'm going to say it again, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indies, and Haitians, man. The Lord made us the most beautiful people on the planet. And the Lord's going to show us that with those brand new bodies. It says, physical features, key characteristics and manifestations. Eurocentric imagery often promotes a narrow ideal of beauty that includes light or flawless skin, straight hair, often blonde, light-colored eyes, thin nose, small lips, slender, able-bodied figure. Okay, features common in Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latin people are excluded or devalued. Right. Okay. And thing is that a lot of people don't have this. This is not the dominant look on the planet. Everybody on the planet has pigmentation. If you look on the skin color map, all right, the skin color map of the whole earth, the majority of the continents on this earth are darker skinned people. Even if you're an Israelite or another nation. Nobody has this. Nobody has blonde hair and blue eyes, thin nose, small lips, and slender, able-bodied figure. No, I mean nobody has this. The majority of people don't have that. What I meant to say, let me correct myself. Majority of people don't have this look. Okay, that's why the scripture says in Obadiah, "O thou Edom, thou pride made you small among the heathen." Okay, you the smallest among the heathen. You Edomites, man. Y'all think y'all the most predominantly the most populated people on the planet? No, y'all the smallest people amongst all the nations. But your pride made you think that you're better and more greater than the mass majority of people of color on the planet. So let me read this again. It says features common in Black, so-called Black, Indigenous, Asian, and Latin people are excluded or devalued. Right. But everybody want to look so-called Black, Indigenous, and Latin. Okay. And you got some Israelites that scattered amongst The Moabites and Ammonites call themselves Asian, but still, the true ideal look, the true superior look on this planet is the so-called black man, black woman and child, the indigenous man, Seminole Indian man, Caribbean Islander, Latino, Central South American man, woman, and child, and even Jake that's in scattered Africa and Europe. But mainly, starting with that's why I said yesterday at camp that the ideal look is the tribe of Judah, because the Most High God is a Judite, and his son Yahweh Shai is a Judite. But the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, and and Esau washed all that away, thinking that God, the Most High God, Yahweh, okay, right? The reason why I say God for those that are new to the channel, the Most High God, Yahweh, the Most High God name is Yahweh, which means He exists or He is, and His Son is his name is Yahweh Shai, which means He saves or delivers. And Allah Shuwan Kadash, man, the Holy Tongue, the Paleo Hebrew. So this man has this Edomite has washed away everything that represent the people of color, any people of color. That's why when you go to Egypt, the noses are pierced off, because them Hamites, even though we're two different nations, Israelites and Hamites, we still look similar. We still got that Negro, what people call African Negro look, but we're two different nations. Israelites are Shemites, and Ham is a Hamite. Them Africans are Hamites, the original Africans, not Jake scattered amongst Africa. But if Esau didn't pierce the nose off of those sphinx or the certain statues and temples, if he didn't pierce the nose off, it would give a true indicator on who the children of Israel are, because in the scripture says Moses or Paul and Yahweh Shai would look like the Egyptians, them Sudanese, them dark-skinned black Sudanese, man. So if the Most High's son looked like similar, if the Most High's son and his people look similar to those people, then those people are considered so-called what people will call African or Negro. See? That's what Esau's fear. So that's why he destroyed those images and paint all the images from Egypt to Greece to Assyria to Babylon, Persia, all these nations, and even till now, even when Jake was ruling in Europe, white, because he's afraid that when the world find out that he's truthfully the Edomites, they're finished, they're fucked. Media representation. Historically, white models and actors have dominated advertising, film, and television, and creating a default white narrative that make it difficult for people of color to not compare themselves to the singular standard. Right. Okay, they made Spider-Man white, they made Batman white, they made the Justice League and everybody. The only person that wasn't white was John Stewart, okay, in the Justice League, the Green Lantern, which I believe he was the original Green Lantern. He was better than fucking Jordan Hall, man. Okay, but you see, but when there's people of color or people or so-called African or Afro Negro or African American descent, they just take them out the picture and put them as black superheroes. They can't just be called superheroes. They just be called black superheroes, and they gotta be in their own form of category. That's why people hate Miles Morales today. Miles Morales can't just be Spider-Man. No, he gotta be Miles Morales because he's a black Spider-Man. But what if Peter Parker was black? What if Peter Parker was a Judite? What if Peter Parker was from the tribe of Benjamin or Issachar or Zebulon? Okay, so all these characters that you grew up watching, they're all look like Edomites, man. That shows you that who's ruling the nation, who's ruling the world, or who's in power is when their faces are common amongst the whole world, even in fiction, even in the dollar, man. So this man has literally uh designed the whole world to make him seem like he's the God on the earth. He's the perfect image. He's the divine look. But no, the people that you call niggers, the people that you call spics, the people that you call savages are Seminoles or Haitian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Taino. Those are the true people, man. Those are the true people. We Israelites are the so-called true white people. And when I mean white, I'm not speaking of skin color. I'm speaking about morality, because that's what white imagery thinks. When you think of the word white, all right, it means pure, righteous, compassionate. When you look at black, darkness, evil, disgust, abomination. So brothers and sisters, stop, and those that are coming to the truth, stop calling yourself black. You're not black. You're different shades of brown. Brothers come from ebony, dark, blackish brown to the most beautiful shades of light brown, man. Even the lighter skin colors. All right, Israel like unto a speckled bird, man. So this is art and education. Art education and historical narratives often focus disproportionately on European art and design, presenting them as the universal standard of artistic excellence while downplaying non-Western contributions, right? And a lot of them European arts and designs go back to Jake, okay? The design of Gucci and Versace and Louis Vuitton, that all goes back to the West African tribes, man, which are Israelites. Are the patterns, the designs, that all go back to Jake. Okay. Picasso, which I believe he was an Edomite, he got that. Picasso stole from Jake, from Judah, man. Picasso stole from African art. I'm just gonna call it African art because that's what the world knows today. It says, how much does Picasso owes to African art? Picasso wasn't just inspired by African art. He appropriated it. He appropriated it in a way that often relied on racist stereotypes of savagery or primitivism. Okay, and this was created by Jake, man. Let me see. See? But they'll make this nigga Picasso one of the greatest artists. No, this man literally stole from West Africa. See? And yeah, you know, Jake in West Africa was crazy and bugged out, but still, man, in certain places, but still. Hey, we're the salt of the earth, man. See, this is definitely was made. I believe this was Benin. Certain statues that look like this goes back to the Benin kingdom, which they could be Benjaminites or Levites, man. Now you got some Hamites amongst them, but still, man. Jake predominantly were the largest numbers of people in Africa and West Africa. Yeah, this man literally stole from Jake in West Africa, man, and West Africa. Because Esau is not an originator; he's a copier. He's an imitator. Okay, he's a complete imitator. So I'm on copy. I'm on actually. Matter of fact, I'm gonna copy and paste this on ChatGPT, and then I'm going to because I want to break down more, examples. All right, actually, give me 20. I should say 25 examples of this in American. I'm gonna say American pop culture, video games, movies, socially, and psychologically. I probably spelled it wrong. Psychologically. There we go. Hold on. All right. So it says sociological images. It says when whiteness is a standard of beauty. It says the flashback Friday. This article was made in 2014. It says one manifestation of white supremacy is used of whiteness as a standard of beauty. When whiteness is considered superior, white people are considered the more attractive by defined and so far as the appearance of people of other races deviates from that standard, they're considered ugly, right? Or if you got kinky hair, broad nose, and thick lips, then you're not attractive. Or you got long hair and you look like a Mexican, or you got that Native American look, or you got that Hispanic look, you're not attractive. If you're from the Caribbean islands, you're not attractive. If you got dark skin, curly hair, you from Dominican Republic, and you're not attractive. And that messes up the psychological minds of Jake, because there's a lot of Eves out here that's wearing blonde hair. Again, you guys at the point where Jake is going to these doctors and dyeing their eyes blue, man, changing their whole eye color from brown to blue. And you're supposed to have brown eyes because brown eyes produces more color and more melanin, and it helps. Is it naturally helps you with your body how you view the world, man. It's stronger. Brown eyes are stronger than blue eyes, man. And just look how blue eyes look, man. Just look at the visage of blue eyes. When you look at somebody with brown eyes, man, you can look at them. You can look in their own eyes and talk and communicate. But blue eyes, we look at somebody blue eyes, man, they staring at your fucking soul, man. I think that's a meme. Brown eyes and blue eyes. I think that's a meme. That's a meme. Yeah, I'm picturing in my head. I remember it's a meme. Hold on. See? It says the most gorgeous big brown eyes you ever seen. Blue eyes staring in your soul, man. Right, man. But in this world, they think that blue eyes is the closest thing to God, man. Okay. You're supposed to have brown eyes, man. And we have brown eyes, you can see the melanin reflect from the sun. All right. It helps you, it shows you right here. It says no one. People with brown eyes. Okay. At nighttime, it gets a little dark in the daytime, man. When you have brown eyes, man, your eyes are bright, man. It shines. It says nobody, people with brown eyes when the sun hits their face at the perfect angle, right? You looking all angelic. And plus, when you Jake, you got that beautiful brown skin shining, your eyes shining, and you just shining, bro. Come on, man. Edomites don't have this, man. The Most High gave you Jakes, you Israelites, brown eyes. Now, let me say this: if you were born with blue eyes, if you're a Jake, you were born with green or blue eyes, and then, I mean, it happens. It's nothing. It's not of your control. But if you're Jake going to a fucking doctor and telling the doctor, dye my eyes blue, then you got demons on you, man. Okay. You're supposed to have brown eyes. And when people have brown eyes, they look better, man. Hey, women with brown eyes, man, they're attractive, man. I can't date no bitch with blue eyes, man, because that bitch be staring at my goddamn soul, man. Why brown eyes are better than blue? It says brown eyes are inherently better, but their higher melanin contents offer protective advantages like less sensitivity to bright lights, reduced glare, and potentially lower risk for some UVA related eye conditions. So brown eyes are inherently better because you can see more colors. And not just that, you have a lot of melanin that protects you from the visage of the sun. Okay. And many energies of the planet. It says advantages of brown eyes. More melanin acts as a natural sunblock, reducing damage from bright light and UV rays, making them less prone to glare or sun sensitivity. UV protection. It says health benefits may low risk for conditions like age-related macular degeneration and eye melanoma. Performance. Some studies suggest brown eye individuals may have fast reaction times to tasks requiring quick responses. Right. It says low light vision with less melanin, more light enters the eye, which can be advantage in dim conditions and potentially aiding in tasks like reading in the dark. Right. Hey man, that's crazy because when I walk in the house, man, when I come from camp and I walk in the house, man, the lights are out, man, and it's complete darkness. I'm able to see the dark, man. I don't care how black it is, man. I know where the couch is at. I know where the TV's at. I don't even know I even know where the remote at, man. Okay. It be black as hell in the living room when I walk in. Because sometimes my mother be out or she be sleeping, or she be maybe at work, or she be upstairs taking a nap, preparing for work. And, I'll be walking in from camp. Black as hell, man. Black as hell. Hey, I know where the goddamn TV's at. And I'm not even saying that when it's just some little light and all, man. Because brown eyes help you able to see better in dark times, man. In a dark night, man. It says blue eyes, higher light sensitivity, and greater risk for sun-related eye damage like cataracts. Some researchers suggest that brown-eyed women might experience more pain during childbirth and higher levels of anxiety. Okay, so let me see. Why does brown eyes look natural and blue eyes look like staring. Let me see. Staring in your soul. Let me see. It says brown eyes. Yep, making them. It says brown eyes seem natural and earthly due to their high melanin content, making them common globally and symbolizing grounding, warmth, and dependability. While blue eyes with less melanin scatter light, creating an intense, clear look, often linked to mystery, depth, and clarity. Right. Hey, when you see a woman, hey, when you see when you deal with, when you talk to an Edomite woman with blue eyes, man, that bitch be staring at your goddamn soul. I'm like, God damn, bitch, look the other way. But man, I just, and not even just that, Jake, just people period with lighter colored eyes, man, because they be staring at your soul. But that's why when you talk to people with brown eyes, man, or amber or hazel eyes, it's easy to talk to them because that dark melanin is how can I say, it's compatible to uh it's compatible to the communication based on what I'm trying to say. If I'm making sense, you know what I'm saying? Like when you talk with somebody with brown eyes, you're able to talk to them. But when people with blue eyes or light blue eyes, they be staring at your goddamn souls, man. Because that's not natural. Having blue eyes is not natural. And like I said, you have Jake that had blue eyes, that had that Edomite look, but you're gonna have that melanated look in the kingdom. So don't worry about it. But you Edomites, y'all not natural, man. You're not harmonious to the earth or the visage of the planet, man. That's why everywhere that you go, you destroy everything. Okay, it says the piercing gaze that feels like looking into the soul, the staring into your soul feeling with blue eyes often comes from how low light, how light reflects off their low melanin irises, making expressions seem amplified, intense, almost haunting or otherworldly, contrasting with brown, comforting, round vibes, man. Okay, it says brown eyes associated with earth, stability, loyalty, resilience, warmth, and giving a reliable and nurturing impression. Right. And no, blue eyes doesn't symbolize this. See, that's where Esau signs come in. 10, 6, 9, man. That's where they're going off. But you see, okay, majority of people on this planet don't have blue eyes. The majority of people on this planet have brown eyes. You're supposed to have pigmentation on this planet. Having melanin, that having having a skin color that matches the soil of the earth is perfect. Even if you darker black, you ebony shade, mahogany, copper brown, or bronze brown, or golden brown, or light brown, medium brown. Hey, if you brown, you good in town, man. You good in this town, man. If you brown, you're good in this town. But Esau, he's not brown. Even if you got chocolate, even chocolate Edomites, but still predominantly Esau is not. He doesn't have no pigmentation. Okay, he's anti-life. It says this collection of images is a nice illustration of the way in which Black women, in particular, as expected, to look white in order to qualify as beautiful. Right. It says the images are powerful because the Black models look almost identical to white models, but also it says also what was I lost my sense. He says because the Black models look almost identical to white models, but also because there are ads for makeup. So the ads are literally selling beauty. So right, even if you're trying to look white, even if you try to look, even if you look like you, and you're trying to change your face up to look like an image of an Edomite woman, they still showing you that image of beauty. That's why you shouldn't be dealing with the let me see, black. I'm gonna type in Black Jesus, not the fucking show. See, even when niggas, you see niggas with this painting. Hold on. Even when you see niggas with this painting, it still goes back to Caesar Borgia. Okay, because he's still a white man, even if he look like a jig with fucking brown skin and dreads. And Yahweh Shai didn't have dreads, man. This is not Yahweh Shai. So even if they say Black Jesus or Asian Jesus or fucking Hawaiian Jesus or Korean Jesus, East Indian Jesus, it all goes back to that, to white imagery. Even if they look like other nations, it still have that Edomite look, but with brown skin. Okay, and this is not, this nigga is about to be that's That's Lamar from fucking GTA. But this is the perfect image of Yahweh Shai. And no, he doesn't do a pose like this. That pose goes back to Satan, but with the little hand, two fingers in the hand, Yahweh Shai didn't do that. But the perfect image of the Heavenly Father is this, of the Heavenly Father's Son. Okay, the depiction of the Most High Son is this, man. Yep. See, is this? That's Yahweh Shai. Okay, this is what the scriptures depicts. The Bible depicts the biblical figure of Yahweh Shai, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. This is what the Messiah looks like. Big white afro hair, you know what I'm saying? Brown skin, beautiful shade of brown. Look at his father, man. What the world ignorantly called God. Okay, Daniel 7-9. He sits on the ancient, the ancient days sit on the throne, hair white like wool, hair like wool. Hey, Jake, especially from Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and many of Northern Kingdom Israelites that got that Southern Kingdom look, including me, hey, we got that woolly hair, man, that beautiful afro hair, but that they demonize that look in this world. See, this place needs to go, man. Esau's whole system and world needs to go. See? So even if they trying to make the, Jake, Eve look white, they still pushing that image of having straight hair, thin lips, thin nose, a little bit lighter skin. It's the best look. It says this flash Black Friday. So this is Flash Black Friday. So these are ads I collected and posted in 2008. Have things changed or stayed the same? Or am I being unfair? Most white women do not look like these women either. And women of color in the images are, in fact, women of color. Who am I to say that they don't look black? Is there something else going on? I'm happy for the conversation. So this is back in 2014. It's but yeah, man. But now it's a total takeover. Okay, the curses are hopping on these Edomites because I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. And I know this may sound crazy, man. Why do you have Barbie dolls? When you was growing up in the early 2000s, and let me see. When you was growing up in the early 2000s, I just had the image. Yep. When you was growing up in the early 2000s, man, this was normal. When the 80s and 90s and 2000s, this was normal. The white image, the white look was normal. Okay. Now you have this image of the, little Israelite girl want to look for a Barbie doll, Cinderella or whatever. But this was normal. When you walk into Toys R Us or Walmart, all the toys, all the characters they look like Edomites. And there was very, very few characters that looked like Jake. And even if they looked like Jake, they was in the back of the aisle, in the back somewhere of who knows what, a 144 Prakate How about Shimi outside. So you may be thinking like Ashemai, this is just it doesn't. Well, why does this matter? It's just a little girl looking for a princess doll. No, this is a whole psychological damaging of Jake, period. Because when Jake likes to say this little girl right here, if she pick up these Barbie dolls, right now, she may like it because she's the the princess, the princess is the princess, whatever her favorite character is. But that image of lighter skin and blue eyes and blonde hair, red hair, that Edomite look, if she picks up the Barbie doll that looked like Edomite, that's going to change her whole visage of beauty because she doesn't have that look. She doesn't have the blonde hair and blue eyes. So that's going to fuck with her mental growing up to the point that when she gets older, she's going to dye her hair blonde. See, this is a whole psychological thing. This is not just some kid going to the store and buying his favorite toy. No, this is all programmed by Esau, starting with Amalek. They know what they're doing. That's why when you walk down the street, you see Eve with blonde hair, you be like, what the fuck? Because that's not natural. Our women don't, unless you were born, let's just say you was born, you got an Edomite mother and an Israelite father, a Judite father, and you came out having lighter hair and bluer eyes, because I have a best friend like that. You know what I'm saying? Both of his parents are mixed, and he came out looking like a straight up Edomite, but he's a Jake, But, Naturally, us Israelites, besides us being scattered, naturally as a nation, we're not supposed to look like an Edomite. We're not supposed to have blonde hair and blue eyes. And we're not even supposed to dye our hair blind. That's leprosy. It's very unclean. When Miriam was kicked out from the Israelites for going against Moses, the Lord took her melanin away. She had to be an Edomite for a week, man. I know that's probably painful as hell because hey, back then the earth was different. The sun was hotter, the atmosphere was different. So she was probably getting fucking crispied up by the sun, man, having no melanin. But see, in this world, they make this look as the pinnacle of universal beauty, which is not. This is the basis of men. The Most High hates you, Edomites, man. The Most High Son hates you, fucking Edomites, and you Edomite women. So what if Jake dating with Becky or Sarah? They ain't shit, man. Now on this side, would you rather pick Keisha or Becky? I'll pick Becky because Keisha ain't right in her mind right now. I don't get Keisha in the kingdom. I'll get the Israelite woman in the kingdom. But truthfully, you Edomite women, you Edomites, period, man. Edomite man or woman, y'all not right in the mind. Y'all not right, man. Okay, and your kingdom is falling. Let me see if brothers have post up any scriptures. Shalom Malak. I didn't even know you posted Shalak yet. Shalom, the brother Elias Shazak. It says, salvation. Hold on, give me 1 second. Shalaki, I had a phone call. But yeah, brother made a beautiful point. He says, it's weird how back in the early 2000s, it's weird how back in the early 2000s, there was any black action figures for Israelite boys to look up to EG Action Man. That was my favorite action figure. But that action figure was an Edomite, right? Even when they had people of color, Jake, even if they have action figures that look like Jake, they still like Edomites, man. They just made the hair a little curlier and the skin a little tiny, like a little tanner and a little darker. But that Edomite look was still showing, no matter what color of the action figure was. All right, G.I. Joe, they were all Edomites, man. And you had a few little, Jake characters. Okay, but that shows you that we're in this man's kingdom because his image is all throughout the world. So we'll grab this real quick. What was it? So, like I said, this is bigger. This image is bigger than what you think. It says Christina Cabral, the lack of representation of black dolls in UK toy shops. Okay. This image is bigger than you think. That's why when that, during this time, from I'll say from 2015 to now, or actually 2016 to now, shit, from 2020 to now, it's been a whole Jakeover, man. Growing up, you see a lot of your news reporters were Edomites, podcasters were Edomites. Your favorite, the sports that you watch, from the 80s and 90s and 2000s were predominantly Edomites. Now it's a whole Jakeover. The tables are turning. Now you turn on the TV. Jake is the news reporter, the weatherman. Either if they're from the Southern Kingdom or Northern Kingdom. Okay, ESPN. Okay, Jake, man. And now in movies, you see the character. Let me see, Shalaki. I was kind of copy and paste the image. Ariel, black, mermaid. See, when this, I remember this came out. This popped in my head before I made the lesson. But I remember this came out. This was like 7 years ago, and a lot of people were mad because a fictional character that was based off of Greek mythology, because mermaids, I believe they go back to Greek mythology, and then her father was Triton, which was son of Poseidon. All right, that whole Atlantean kingdom. People were mad because Ariel wasn't a red-headed, blue-eyed Edomite girl. And when they changed his skin color to Jake, everybody got fucking upset. This can't be possible. But wait, don't y'all realize this is all fiction? Even when that game God of War Ragnarok, okay, Angrboda was a, you know, they even plagiarized fucking mythologies, man. Okay, Angrboda was a black girl, but in mythology in Esau's iconoclasm, they made her look white. But truthfully, she was an Israelite woman. But that Norse mythology thing, that was all created by Jake, you know, the Vikings. But the point of the matter is, the point I'm trying to make is that even when there's a Jake over and Jake is now becoming the face of beauty, now Jake is becoming the top look. Now everybody want an Israelite woman. Now everybody want to deal with the Israelite man. These Edomites are now fucking frustrated. It says people are trying to prove that Ariel can't be black, and Disney put them in their place. And this was this is what was it? How long was this? 2019. This was like what, 7, 8 years ago. It says actress Haley Bailey was recently cast as Ariel in the upcoming remake of Little Mermaid, but many feel that the role should have gone to a white actress. So right, these Edomites are mad because why is Ariel black? She can't be some fucking nappy head nigger. That's what these Edomites think. They could say, well, I don't think that Haley Bailey is the right girl to play her, or this, that, and the third. But deep down in their conscience, they're like, I don't want this nigger playing my favorite white character. And you got to understand, when my sister loved Little Mermaid, you know, I used, you know, growing up, I loved The Lion King, but because that movie hit me in my spirit. But when these movies that had white characters came out, man, a lot of these Edomites were rejoicing. Kids was dressing up as them. Kids want, you know, white kids want to be like Cinderella or G.I. Joe or you know, Superman. Okay, they want, you know, they that boosted up Esau's pride. That if my characters and that my image of fantasy or fiction is white, then I'm okay with that. But now that there's a black face, oh, it's a fucking problem. It says, but earlier this week, it says Disney owned Freeform channel fought back against people who think that Bailey was poor choice for the role, citing that the original story written by Hans Christian Andersen was who was Danish. And right, let me see, Christian Danish, and the true Danish are not true Edomites, man. It was basically from the true Danish. The Snow Queen, yeah, Little Mermaid, Empress New Clothes. He could be Jade. He could be, but I could be wrong. But the true Danish, yeah, he kind of got that look. Yeah, it's like visage, or he could just be an Edomite. We're gonna find out in the kingdom. But the true Danish, if we do your original history, were you know, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Okay, so-called black men, women, and children. Okay, of the Negro stock, the Negro tribes. It says written by Hans Christian Andersen, who was Danish, as for a reason of a Caucasian Ariel. Ariel is a mermaid. Exactly. It's a mythological creature, man. Okay, it says Freeform said on social media saying Danish mermaids can be black because Danish people can be black. Exactly. And the original Danish people were black. Okay, the Danes. Black Danes, Moors. It says, what was that? It says Black Danes or Dubgals or the Moors, referring to a distinct group of medieval history through sometimes conflated Black Danes, describe darker complected Viking groups from Denmark, distinguished from white Danes, Norwegians, which were also black, while Moors generally denoted North African Muslims, including Arabs, Berbers, and who ruled parts of Iberia, which Iberia, that word Iberia goes back to Ibar, which is the forefather or the father of the forefather of Abraham. Okay, you have the forefather Abraham, which Ibar goes back to Hebrew. So this word Ibaria was the land of the Hebrews. Okay, which was named by Jake. Okay, which the true land of the Hebrews is the land of Israel, but you know Ibar goes back to the word Hebrew. Okay, and aren't we Hebrew Israelites, right? It says with historical accounts noting black individuals in various roles across Europe, sometimes linked to these groups or as independent figures. Okay. And there was no. Now, did you have few white Vikings? Of course, but a lot of Jake in Europe looked like this. Hold on. Let me go grab this image real quick. See, they don't want to see this whole man. If the Most High is revealing, man. Let me see. See, the black Scandinavian Vikings, and right, this is AI, but still, by historical and accurate, uh, uh, you know, accounts, man. This is what original Vikings look like. They look like this, man. Jake, hey, brother Elijah Zach, you might be not, you probably not from the Igbo tribe. You might be from fucking Sweden, man. A Judite from Sweden, man. An ancient Viking, man. Descended from the Vikings, man. Scattered amongst Britain. Shit, you brother, you the original. What's that? Hey, brother, you the original. Britain, man. Says Khan. Almost all our national England soccer team is Jake, and right, even the white ones are Jakes. I believe one of the, if I'm not mistaken, one of the English soccer player. He looked like a white boy, but his dad is a Jake, and his mom is an Edomite. But he came out looking like an Edomite. I forgot his name, but he was an Israelite. But still, man. All right, brother, you may not be from the Igbo tribe, brother. You might be a Viking the whole time. All right, son of Denmark, man. See? They don't want you to see this, man. They do not want you to see this because that will destroy if this come out. And I know this is AI and the AI imagery, but this is the true image. If this came out, if this came out today, Esau will have a fucking heart attack. Esau knows that a lot of Jake in Europe knows that a lot of Edomites knew in Europe that Jake ruled Europe for 1,000 years, man. They were the original Vikings, the Irish. Hey, Dublin, Blackpool, man. A lot of black niggas lived in Ireland, man. And through the spirit, I believe a lot of them Irish were from the tribe of Benjamin, that wild, crazy man. Okay, Ireland goes back to Irun. Okay, Iruna. See? And you had, that's a beautiful depiction. Hey, you had, Israelite men that look like this, different shades, and even that look like them Edomites that was there, labeled those Edomites, and them children came out looking like them Edomites, man. That's why you have a lot of Israelite foreigners in Ireland, Scandinavia, Germany, Denmark, France. Okay. Where was I? So Shalakia, it says Freeform, a cable channel owned by Disney, fought back against critics trying to prove that Ariel can't be black with a statement on Saturday. It says, yes, the original author of The Little Mermaid was Danish. Ariel is a mermaid. Freeform wrote in an impassioned post on Twitter and Instagram regarding the argument that Fables or original author Hans Christian Andersen Danish ethnicity meant that Ariel couldn't be black. Ethnicity meant that Ariel can be black. So basically, they were trying to base off the man's image, ethnicity. Like, oh, if he's white, then she gotta be white. No, man. Okay, it's all fiction. It's all fiction, man. But truthfully, that's the thing. Esau is afraid that white imagery is dying. White Eurocentric imagery. The white character, the white superhero, the white protagonist, the white this is dying. Now Jake is taking over, and Jake got flavor. Jake is the true protagonist, the originator. All right. It says Danish mermaids can be black because Danish people can be black. Freeform said in response to people who was using the perceived ethnicity of the fictional character as a reason against casting black actress Haley Bailey in the making. Right. And those were Edomites, man. So I typed in this. I'm gonna grab the is any other scriptures I wanted to grab? I guess that was it for right now. But I typed in, what was it? It was yeah, I'm gonna read this. This is it says give 20 examples on how white Eurocentric imagery rules the world and destroys the natural look of beauty. Give me 1 second. It says here's 20 clear real world examples often cited by scholars, artists, activists when discussing white Eurocentric image, Edomite image that dominates global beauty standards and marginalized natural human diversity. It says global beauty standard: light skin, narrow nose, and thin lips, straight hair marked it as default beauty across continents, even when their traits are rare. A multi-billion-dollar global market exists to giving the light and darker skin, especially in Africa, Asia, and Caribbean. Right. That's why when you see Jake, what was that baseball player that whitened his skin? Baseball player that bleached his skin. Bleached. There we go. Sammy Sosa. There we go. Sammy Sosa, man. That brother was beautiful, man. And he's from the tribe of Simeon. But he wanted to look like an Edomite. See? He wanted to look like his oppressors, man. Envy not thy oppressor. Okay, but when he bleached his skin, that melanin came right back, man. But truthfully, man, he was beautiful, man. Perfect imagery, perfect, beautiful brown skin. Okay. Let me see. Bleached. And he started to bleach, man. Okay. Now look. Look weird as hell, man. Like this man put pounds of fucking makeup on, man, before he walked outside. This is not the natural look, man. Unless you were born like this. Unless you was an Israelite born like this, because what's the name? Sam Scott Scorch. Yep, Scott Storch, the rapper. Yeah. This is an Israelite. This man is a Jake. Okay. This man is this man is an Israelite, but he got the Edomite look. But don't worry, this brother gonna get his pigmentation back. And he was born like this. So there's nothing that he can do. But in the kingdom, he gonna look like the his tribe, which I think was ethnicity. White, Jewish, Lithuanian. It says many mistakes assume he's African American due to his work with black artists. He's raised in Florida. Yep. But he's an Israelite through the spirit, man. It says white and Jewish, Jewish heritage on his mother's side. Okay. But this man is a speckled bird. If you actually listen to his music, because his beats, man, the way how you making them beats with Busta Rhymes and Eminem, I'll hurt you, man. That should be on fire, man. Okay. But hey, there's $1 billion industry that's happening to this day that's making money off bleaching your skin to look like an Edomite. Hair discrimination: natural afro texture is labeled as unprofessional, while straight, loose, wavy hair is accepted and neutral and polished. Okay, or they would call it exotic or different or animalistic. Fashion models casting high fashion runaways will still overwhelmingly favor Eurocentric facial features, even when using non-white models. Right, you could still be Brazilian and look white. What's the name? Amanda Lemon. Amanda. What's the name? Amanda Lemma. No, actress. No, model. That's her name. I think her. Lemma. Andrea Lemma. There we go. See, and she's from the tribe of Asher, but she look like an Edomite woman. Okay, and she's very beautiful, man. But her lineage go back to the tribe of Asher. So she's an Israelite. But even when she's not non-white, that's still that Edomite look is still need to be pushed. Okay, it says film and television leads, romantic leads, and heroes are disproportionately lighter skinned, while darker characters are sidekicks, villains, or comic relief. Okay, colorism within communities, lighter skin is rewarded socially and economically, even when non-white communities are direct inheritance of colonial hierarchies. Right, and that's why there's a lot of colorism in many of the tribes now. Now, in the truth, man, we don't care about what your skin color is. You can be cream, tan, brown, beige, black, ebony, different shades of brown from light to tan, even to look like Esau, man. We don't care. You know, Israel is like unto a speckled bird. So colorism doesn't exist in this truth. We realize that we're all Israelites. That's all that matters. But outside this circle of this truth, Jake is still fighting over light skin versus dark skin. I don't like him. He light skinned. That nigga too dark skinned. That like, nigga still fighting over skin color because colorism has affected the mentality of Jake's mind to this day. That's why they push that bitch Beyonce out, because she has lighter skin. She got lighter hair color. And many of people that are more talented than her are darker than her. But at the end of the day, hey, all that colorism shit is gonna go out the window. Even in the Northern Kingdom tribes, man. Northern Kingdom wants to be like Esau so bad, but hey, Esau still look down upon you, goddamn Northern Kingdom, you Hispanics, Native Americans, man, you Latin tribes, man. It says beauty filters and AI bias. It says face filters and AI beauty enhancements, lighter skin, slim nose, reduce ethnic features automatically. Children, dolls, and toys. For decades, dolls with white features were the norm, shaping children's senses of what is lovable and valuable. Advertising imagery. Luxury brands sell aspirations through whiteness, while darker bodies are used for grit, labor, and exoticism. It says wedding and bridal idols. Fair brides are marketed as more elegant and pure in many cultures due to European Victorian influence. Pageants and competitions. International beauty pageants historically favored contestants closer to European aesthetics, right? That's why when it be like Miss, what's it called, Lady Universe or Miss Universe, you know, it'll always be an Edomite woman back in the day. But now, when Eve get in there, you know, she looked really good with polished brown skin, you know, thick, kinky hair, man. She'll blow this play out the. She'll blow the whole place out the world because of her beauty, man. And that's the thing. My sister and my mother was saying that too. You know, when they're at work, they can't deal with, you know, the Edomite women that are at their jobs. They can't deal that women of color are becoming more attractive than they are, because they grew up their whole lives thinking that they're the top pinnacle women on the planet, which they're not. You're all the bases of men. Okay, you Megan Foxes, you Jennifer Aniston's, you Angelina Jolie's, you fucking what's another one? Taylor Swift's. You bitches are trash, man. Okay? Jessica Simpson's, y'all all trash, man. Okay? Y'all not the beauty standard. Now you have Israelite women that look like those Edomite women, you know, like Pink or what's her name? Lady Gaga and Britney Spears, which I believe Britney Spears is from the tribe of Gad, man. You know, she got that little, she look like Edomite, but she look like a Gadite in a sense. If you look deep down, you know, you look closer. But hey, the Edomite woman, she's no longer the beauty standard no more. Okay, blonde hair, blue eye, Becky. I'm just typing Becky. See, this is no longer the look. Then that bitch look crazy, but this is no longer the look, man. All right, this look is no longer the ideal look, the image of purity. Okay, now if I sit down, would you get a you know, Edomite woman over a Jake woman? You know, Eve, yeah, of course, because Eve is out of her fucking mind. But you gotta remember that these are the bases. These are dogs, man. You know, these goddamn blonde hair, blue eyed, Shedemite women, man, they're dogs, man. Look, fucking through. And Sabrina Carpenter, she's an Israelite. she's an Israelite too. All right. You got Becky G. What's the name? Christina Aguilera. She's an Israelite too. She's from the tribe of Zebulon. Okay, but she got that white look. Spanish origin, Ecuadorian. Okay, her father's Ecuadorian. Yep, Ecuadorian immigrant from Guayaquil. I'm probably pronounced that wrong. Her mother was German, Irish, Welsh, and Dutch ancestry. So she came out looking white, man. But she's from the tribe of Zebulon. Okay. Now we're not saying, oh, if we look white, you're not an Israelite. No, you got a lot of Israelites that look white, man. Okay. You got a lot of Israelites that look like so-called white man or the white woman. Okay, they got the Edomite look, but they're Jakes, man. Language and descriptors, words like clean, soft, pretty, and refined are quoted towards Eurocentric looks, while others are harsh and rough. All right, I'm gonna go down to what I posted up. It says video games. Default white protagonist. Major franchises default white male protagonist. All right. Early Call of Duty, Uncharted, Assassin's Creed, while characters of color are optional skins or side characters. Okay. That's why you go on these fucking you play these early 2000 games. All right. The main character is an Edomite, but he all tough and ready to action, ready for fights, ready for action, cold hearted, cruel. You know what I'm saying? He got to be a badass. But that's not all reality, man. That's the opposite. Truthfully, a lot of them white characters based are actually Jakes, man. Alex Mercer, Kratos. All right, Kratos is an Israelite. Okay. Call of Duty, all right, Soap and Ghost, man. Those are Jakes, man. Okay. Let me see. White man. Hold on. White man. Video game protagonist. Traits. See? The white video game protagonist. They all gotta have straight hair or buzz cuts. But if you think about it, if you see it with spiritual eyes, they're Israelites, but they got that Edomite look. All right, Wolfenstein, Assassin's Creed. All right, it says games without borders. 9 heroes who break the gruff white guy, right? The rough, gruff, tough white guy from the video game. So this is Delson Rowe from Infinite Second Son. That was a good game, man. That I was spiritually connected to that game, man. Because that was because he's from the tribe of Gad, and he received spiritual power. All right, Cloud Strife, man, blonde hair and blue eyes, and there was a mod where you could make Cloud Strife look like a Jake, and they posted up on Twitter, and everybody got fucking mad because Cloud Strife had looked like he had that dark skin and thick lips, man. Okay, best video game characters with white hair. All right, Zeus from God of War. This goes on and on, man. And even when they have people of color, even when they have people of color, main characters, they still gotta be lighter skin. They still gotta have that Eurocentric Edomite look. This is character custom designs. Bias, it says character creation, Shlaki. Creation bias. Customization systems often make white Eurocentric features look normal, while Afrocentric or indigenous features appear exaggerated or limited. Right. That's why you play certain back in the day games. You're trying to design your character. You got all these white hair textures, all hairstyles, and then you trying to create a jig in the game. You only get an afro, cornrows, or dreads. That's it. That's why in the new Harry Potter's game, they when you create your own character, that if you want to make them black, you have multiple hair textures, man, of so-called Negro hair textures. All right, Jake hair textures. Hold on, Harry Potter hair, black. Hold on, black hairstyles. See, when this came out, niggas was like, "Oh shit, nigga, we got the fade, we got the lineup, we got the curls, we got the dreads." But dreads ain't our culture, but still, all right, we is now games are now bringing out more hairstyles for Jake. Because back in the day, Jake only had 3 hairstyles in certain video games. So it was afro, buzz cut. It was afro, a fade, a buzz cut, an afro, a buzz cut or / fade, dreadlocks or cornrows, man. There was nothing else. That was it. That's all niggas look like. It's dreadlocks, afros, and cornrows, man. And a fucking fade, a buzz cut. What was I typing it? That's why niggas was playing 2K hairstyles. That's why niggas was playing 2K all day because, you know, 2K that's a nigga game and they making money off of Jake. You know, what's that fucking NBA 2K? They make money off of Jake, but that's why you go on 2K, man. You got all these exotic hairstyles because that's what Jake looked like. You know, even if you know it's still wicked, but still, man. You know, the fucking dreads and fucking fades and you know high tops, fucking high tops. You know, what's some I forgot what these called, but they're down in Florida. Freeform dreads or what's it called, splits or some shit. I forgot. I forgot what they're called. But you get what I'm saying, man. It says good hair physics. Straight hair gets a high quality animation. Coiled or locked hair is rare, stiff, or absent. This is fantasy, medieval. It says game equates fantasy worlds with European castles, pale elves, and Nordic imagery. While non-European cultures are labeled as exotic biomes. All right, villain coding, darker skin tones, foreign accents, and non-European aesthetics are frequently used to signal enemies or morally grave fractions. White savior narratives, films where white protagonists save communities of color that help Avatar with dances with wolves. Okay. And I believe that dude Sam Worthington that played in Avatar, I believe he's a Jake, but still that Edomite look, saving the world type thing. That's just Esau's pride. Romantic leads, love interest overwhelmingly favorite lighter skinned actors. Dark skinned characters are sidelined or desexualized. Casting historical figures, non-European histories are often portrayed with lighter skinned actors or Eurocentric features. Animated defaults. Animated protagonists are usually white coded unless race is explicit. Subject: Frozen, Toy Story, or Up. Beauty makeovers. Glow ups often include straight hair, lighter makeup, slimmer nose, and softened ethnic features. Luxury equals whiteness. Advertisement and media. High end brands use whiteness to signal elegance and status. Darker bodies are used for athleticism and edge. Okay. Skin tones, hierarchy. Ad favors racially ambiguous or lighter skinned models, even when marketing to non-white audience. Before and after imagery. And quote unquote improvement is visually coded as more Eurocentric, lighter, straighter, or slimmer. Beauty filters. Social media filters automatically lighter skin, slim nose, and large eyes. Basically like a white woman or a white man. Colorism, psychosocial and psychological conditioning. Lighter skin is associated with beauty, intelligence, and success, even within communities of color. That's why niggas be dark as hell, dark skinned, and they be with the lightest white chick, the lightest curly hair, light skinned girl. Because why? Because that still goes on today. Now, hey, I remember back in the day, Jake was getting bullied because they were being called African booty scratchers because how black and dark they were. Now every chick want a dark skin. Now every chick want a Jake with some pigmentation. All right, that's why I've grown up in the early 2010s, from like 2010 to like 2008, from 2017. It was always dark skin versus light skin memes. All right, dark skin would be crazy, wild, and fucking animalistic, while light skin nigga will be all beautiful and shiny and glorious. That still goes on today. It's all memes and jokes, but truthfully, that whole psychological condition, it all goes back to slavery, man. It says children media. What was that? Oh, hair policing. Afros, locks, braids are labeled unprofessional in schools and workplaces. Okay. Uh, children's media. Early exposure to white dolls, princesses, and heroes shapes subconscious of ideals of worth. Dating algorithm studies show that darker skinned users receive fewer matches due to desirability bias, right? Because the curses. Because these Edomite men, when they have daughters, they're afraid that their daughter's going to date a black guy because they will say that her daughter will be a mud shark or will be a single mom. Okay, they're afraid that their daughter will receive the curses dealing with the Jake, man. Okay, so it says language bias. Eurocentric features are described as soft, clean, pretty, while others are strong and rough. It's basically saying the same thing. But yeah, man, uh, racial coding, black characters, and this is what popped in my head too. But while this is happening, while Esau pushes White Imagery, he'll racial code his characters as well, man. Like March with kinky hair, or Navi people from Avatar having Afro kinky hair, or what's like another character I could think of that they make, that they race coded. Um, that's all I can think of, etc. I didn't mean to make this lesson way too long, but let me see. It says here's a clear example of racial code: how blackness is visually signaled through hair, body, speech, and behavior in American pop culture, often without explicitly naming race. What is race coding? Quickly, race coding is when characters use visual or behavioral traits, hair textures, lip, body types, dialect, music, and attitude to signal race, especially blackness, without saying it outright. Okay. It says hair as racial code, very common. Kinky hair, characters with exaggerated curls, afros, locks, uh, lock-like shapes, or messy coils are often black coded, even if they're not non-human. Right, like that character, what's the name? Sideshow Bob. All right, that nigga look like he came down from Florida, man. He got the dreads. They'll make him look like a redheaded Edomite, but you know that he's based off a dreadheaded nigga, man. Could be Benjamin. But hey, it says March. No. Blue skin, no. March Simpson is yellow skin. Is yellow skin, afro hair. It says Navi. Okay, the Navi avatar, blue aliens, but coded as indigenous or black through braids, lock, tribal spiritualities, bare bodies, harmony with nature trope. This hair texture is explicitly non-European, making them primitive but noble. Trolls, multiple franchises, wild, colorful, coiled hair, rhythmic, emotional, communal, often musical, black coded traits. Monster with dreads, characters like Predator, because Predator is based off the angels, or fancy creatures with lock like tendrils signal fear, pharaoh, warrior, or tribal masculinity. Orcs, okay, often dark-skinned, broad-nosed, aggressive, savage, speaking in Grotto dialects, historically tied to racist caricatures. The hyenas from the Lion King, which the whole Lion King cast was based off of Jake. Okay, Jazz Crow, Dumbo, Jar Jar Binks, Minotaur. Okay, it says Minotaur is beast race, muscular horn, hyper physical, emotional, strength without intellect trope, basically making the fun of Jake. That's why they basically calling Jake a monster. Street Fighter characters, black coded fighters often emphasize dreadlock aggression, natural physical power over strategy. NPC criminal coding, darker skin, afros, hooded clothes, enemies, or in criminal NPCs. It says musical coding, drums, hip hop, jazz, or gospel styles used to make characters urban or ethnic. AAV inspired speech, characters use slang, rhythm, or cadence associated with black speech offered for human. Hyper expressiveness, loudness, emotion, intensity, and sass. Black coded personality, blackness uh, as other. When characters aren't human, black coded used as to signal primitive, comic, or dangerous or exotic. Type something down. This is why this matter dehumanizes without explicit racism, keeps Eurocentric features as norms, pushes blackness into metaphor, motherhood, monsterhood, or comic relief. Black people are allowed to exist symbolically, but not always centrally or humanly. It says Marge Simpson, yellow skin, tall afro hair. Marge Simpson is racially coded. Marge Simpson is not black, but she is visually, behaviorally coded using traits historically associated with character black femininity. Okay, I know I pronounced the word wrong, but if you watch the show The Simpsons, her two sisters look like, fucking aunties, man, black aunties, big afros and everything, while being placed inside of a white coded family and social structure. This is a classic example of appropriating racial traits without racial identity. Hair as a primary racial code, Marge's hair is extremely tall, textured, rounded, and vertical. Visually, in most clothes resemble 1960s and 70s Afro silhouettes, not straight or European hair. In American visual language, large vertical texture hair has long been racialized as black, even when stylized. She's not black; she's a cartoon. Even when you watch SpongeBob, his parents is black, man. SpongeBob parents are racial coded, even his grandma. I remember that. I mean, I grew up watching the show, man. Exactly. He says, and you know, when you watch the show, SpongeBob, and I know this is a silly topic, but when you watch a lot of these cartoons, man, they're all there. A lot of them are making fun. They're all based off of Jake. The Smurfs based off of Jake. What's their main character? What's their main enemy? Gargamel, which is an Amalekite. Okay. Transformers were based off of Jake. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were based off of Jake. Okay, the main enemy is always was a mole bite. Was the Shredder. Okay, it says racial coding of SpongeBob parents and grandma. It says SpongeBob's grandma, one of the clearest examples. Voice and speech patterns. All right, SpongeBob grandma speaks in southern warm, nurturing dialect. Cadence and tone resembling Southern black grandma mother archetype common in U.S. media. Okay, so that shows you, and these, y'all can check it yourselves. It says, why is this coding happening? It says blackness as emotional labor. In American media, black coded characters are often used to embody warmth, nurturing, and emotional grounding, while white coded characters retain authority, intellect, or individuality. Okay, so even it says yellow natural body racialized tree. So that's an example right there. And if we do our research, sponges come in different shades of brown. But the point of the matter is that this man Esau, I know I went on a different topic, and I know about Shalaki, if this sound a little silly, a little immature, but it was many shows and cartoons and characters, and a lot of white characters were based off of Israelites. But even when they had that white imagery, but the point of the matter is, and what I'm trying to say is that the topic, the theme of this lesson is that from the shows, movies, pop culture, TV, and even the imagery throughout the world, white imagery is dying because Jake is rising up. Okay. Yeah, and these cartoons and shows and pop culture, they make Jake the comic relief, the primitive, the wild, the crazy, the mammy, the fucking wild crazy nigga. But truthfully, the tables are turning. Okay. A lot of these, that's why a lot of movies and shows that have Jake faces are now becoming popular because the Lord is bringing a Jake over. It's Jake over is actually happening, man. And Esau Edom's face, his imagery is falling. Okay, now you're seeing white boys wearing do rags now. Now you go to Europe, you see Edomite kids dressing up like Jakes with fucking Nike Tech and Jordans on, man. Why? Because Jake is the salt of the earth. This is Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the man by the word of the holy ones, to intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and given it to whomsoever he will. He set up over the basis of men. Right. The Lord is controlling all the kingdoms of the earth, all kings, senators, Congress, nations of men, but he put the basis of man on top, which is the Edomites. Okay, the Edomites are controlling everything, man, and they brought white imagery. They brought Eurocentricism. They brought their races as depictions of us, how they view us, and put it in these shows and cartoons and movies. That we got to be the comic relief. We got to be the villain. We got to be the crazy nigga. We got to be the loudmouth black woman. We got to be the crazy baboon, the exotic looking people. But truthfully, that racial coding is based off of Israelites. Okay. Damn, you lit it already? lesson. Nothing. I'm going downstairs. Nothing. I'm going downstairs.
Oh, you was doing something.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, how about you ask to see if you need help?
No, I'm doing a lesson and I'm recording.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm live.
Go ahead. I just gotta go downstairs to take.
Yeah, I'll take that. It's okay.
He gotta go get something from the basement.
Okay. You got it. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I was gonna do it on my lap. Thank you. So lucky about that. I got interrupted. My family just came in. But yeah, man, this man has brought his imagery, making himself as the image of God, and that's not true. Okay. Even his characters, which race some of them, a lot of them racial codes, Jake, he actually adds a white face to it, and that is coming to an end. Okay. The Edomite look, the Edomite image is done. That's the curses. All right, the curses are falling upon this man. Karnak says Jen. Definitely Jake. If you look at this story, let me see. Jen Kamaza. Yeah, man. But you got that Edomite look. A little bit of Moab in it, but still. So they can be regional look, that regional racial look, but they still got that Edomite look. But the basis of man is still ruling. And what the Job 9:24 says, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he? Okay. So hey, this man covered the faces of the judges, which are the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Native and Seminole Indians, even the other nations, man. Okay, which I'm sure I can rephrase that. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians are Israelites. But he even covered the faces of the judges. He even covered the faces of the other nations, man. He even claimed himself to be Egyptian, that the Egyptians were white. Cleopatra was white, which is true, because if you do your research, the Ptolemy Empire came in, all right, and Cleopatra, which she was nationally she was the Egyptian, but ethnically she was a Greek. She was a white woman, and she was an Edomite. But still, even he makes he even make all the other nations look white in this pop culture, man, because he's the wicked. Okay, if you don't look like me, then you're an enemy. Then you're against me. That's what this man does, man. That's what this man did, man. All right. No, this is Deuteronomy, not 28. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 7. All right. It says, and it shall come to it said, this is Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. Right. And the curses of Deuteronomy 28 of being the lowest of the barrel, being first one hired, first one fired, last one hired. Okay, being oppressed and vexed, persecuted, hated. That's all it's gonna be. That all the curses gonna hop on our enemies, the Edomites and these other nations, and we're about to receive the blessings of Deuteronomy 28. So this man, he knows that the curses are growing and hopping on him every single day like a leech, man, just sucking him, just dry, man. No diddy, but hey, man. All right, this man has the curses are wrapping around him like a blanket, and he can't take it off, man. Okay, and these heathens, they're already cursed people. Okay, we're Israelites. We're just people under curses for a temporary time. The heathens, they're cursed people. They're forever cursed. They're eternally cursed, and they're about to receive double curses, man. Double trouble, double pain, double the hell, man. All right. So hey, and if you get mad at this, if Jake, not Jake, if these Edomites get mad at this, wait till they find out what Yahweh Shai, who the Messiah, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, look like. So I hope this lesson was edifying. I didn't mean to make it too long. I'm passionate about my lessons, man. But I hope this is edifying to those that are, that were watching. All right. Call on Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Summer Kadash. The white Eurocentric imagery is dying. Esau is falling. Shalom.